So I've made good progress on my model builds. I've been doing some WPL builds. This one here is brushless, this one's 540, and this one's the 370 setup. But I think it's time to bring back old Bessie right here. This is a Wltoys 12428 that I customized, painted, put upgraded shocks, servo, motor, ESC, and everything. But since then, I've put a few different ESCs in there, a few different motors. And this motor is a RC 4-wheel drive, 20 turn, and it took a crap on me when I put it on 3S. Apparently, it's not made for 3S. So I ordered this old deal right here. This is a brushless system. This is my first real brushless system. I'm going to put this thing in here. If something breaks, then it breaks. Oh well. This is a 60 amp Ghoul RC waterproof ESC. $4,300 kV. I've got a couple 3-cell packs. Here's one here. I'm going to hook it up to 3-cell and 2-cell. I've been doing a lot of crawling and I figured it's time for some high speed, high power. Got a spare just in case. This thing came with new everything, including axle pins. Tear this thing apart. It came with the Allens, so I can take it apart. I'm going to go ahead and check it and make sure it's full of grease. Looks like it's pretty well greased. Taking the bearing and the cup that holds the pin, the inside pin. Take that pin out. You'll have one on each side. I'm going to take that diff apart and put some heavy grease in there. So that was a little bit of a pain, only because it was held together with Allen screws. All steel gears, and they seem pretty substantial. A lot better than what came in this truck originally, was plastic. And this grease isn't too bad, but it feels a little bit more like jelly. I'm going to put some good stuff in there. So I filled the housing with a little bit of that grease as well, and I started to lubricate the shaft just a little bit. I left this side dry so I still have something to grab onto. This thing has an indicator, and there you can kind of see it's like a rib right there. Tell you which side to put the differential on. Alright, so I'm done assembling the axle. I've got it all filled with new fresh grease. The other grease that came with it was kind of gel-like. It wasn't really like a really good thick grease. And I also bought a new drive shaft because this is all I could find of my old one. So got a new silver drive shaft. Also just received some new tires. These are a little bit smaller than the stock wheels. I was thinking that maybe I could get some more stability because they're really high speed. This truck isn't very stable. Check the tread pattern out on that. It's not too bad. It's kind of soft. 12mm hex on these. And at first I think I'm going to run these tires. These are my buggy tires. And this is the back tire. This one's a bit wide and it has a skinny one on the front. I did destroy one of these rims, so I am running a stock wheel over here. But this is about the same size, and it's pretty similar tread pattern. I just like the way these look, and also has this wide stance. I did have these on here for crawling, but these are just going to balloon out super bad, and I don't want to destroy these. These are good crawler tires. That tire might be a little bit too small. It might bottom out a little bit, but we'll have to check that out. Just got to transfer these two pieces over onto the new axle, and we'll be able to mount it up. Right, now before attaching this drive shaft, I went ahead and checked the rotation of this axle, and I found it has a little bit of notchiness to it, and I got a little bit concerned I might have to take the axle back apart. But I have my other spare brand new right out of the package, so I decided to check that to see how that was, and if I turn that, it's even worse. It's notchy almost the whole way around. So I think something about these aftermarket ones, they're just a little bit tight in there. Might need to just let it work in, but I'm just going to see how it works. This one that I took apart, greased, and rebuilt, it's actually a little bit smoother. It only has one little spot that's notchy. This is a separate piece, that's a separate piece, and this is a separate piece. So this is actually a 6-piece axle. So I went ahead and take it apart, and I'm going to Loctite all these little screws in so I don't end up losing my pieces. And the main flaw, the one thing that I had trouble with, I had to put a new pin in, is inside of here, inside of this little swivel head, there's a little pin. And it's held in by a little spring clip. So that little spring clip sometimes comes off and the pin comes right out. So it comes apart and then you lose the pieces and you don't have an axle. So I like to take it apart, put all the Loctite in everywhere I can. Make sure you check this little collar right here. This is the spring that holds it in. This axle was designed for a straight through pin style grub, and this has 2 grub screws, which kind of needs a flat spot. It doesn't really go inside the hole that's available, so I kind of just took my grinder and ground off 2 flat spots on each side and set the grub screws in. Now I'm just going to slide my other half of the shaft on. I've already Loctited all these screws as I've been going through, and I'm going to go ahead and put in the other 2 grub screws and Loctite those down as well. So the new axle under there is ready to go. I'm going to put these tires on.